It look like Bria Hartley just got instant karma, bro. She out for the season. I'm here to tell you the most dirtiest player in the WNBA contract has been written, bro. And I'm here to tell you she's out for the season. Yes, you heard me correctly. Yeah, man, Bria Hartley. So Connecticut PR has released a statement. Bria Hartley is to miss the remainder of the season.
Did Bria Hartley just unleash the WNBA season's dirtiest hit and then immediately face her own retribution? After Sophie Cunningham was removed from the game with a torn MCL after an apparent collision, fans are furious. Even worse, fresh video purports to show Hartley grinning immediately after Sophie.
This picture is going viral with Bria Hartley with the sinister grin, right? This malevolent look that's on her face right now. Clearly smiling after injuring Sophie Cunningham, man.
From the beginning, the play itself didn't appear to be clean. Sophie Cunningham quickly reached for her knee after taking the brunt of the impact and falling to the ground. She made no attempt to stand up. As teammates gathered, trainers hurried over, and the atmosphere in the arena darkened. Sophie was forced to go straight to the locker room rather than experience the typical rebound you would anticipate after a severe fall. You could tell everything from her response. Everybody who was watching understood that the anguish was unique.
This is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it. And she went down hard and was clearly in a lot of pain.
However, it was more than simply the injuries that kept people talking. It was the picture that was released immediately after. Cameras captured Bria Hartley grinning while Sophie was still on the hardwood. Call it a giggle, a smile, or any other gentler term you like, but fans noticed one thing. A player seems to be having fun immediately following an opponent's knee-clutching deck hit. Within minutes, that frame became viral on social media. Suddenly,
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
Timeout.
Should be. Scary moment as we went to commercial. Sophie Cunningham hit the floor hard, and she is being helped off the floor, heading back to the locker room.
the charge was straightforward. If it's an accident, nobody responds like that. The smile, according to fans, spoke louder than any press statement could. And whether Hartley intended it or not was irrelevant once that picture went viral. The impression persisted. The indignation was hardly subdued, even when Sophie attempted to defuse the situation by claiming she was
Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear here. But Sophie Cunningham was flat out targeted by a dirty, dirty player.
Furthermore, Hartley has already encountered that type of criticism. That was the cause of the intense reaction. The league and its supporters had already observed Hartley's outbursts and physical altercations, so the sneer was more painful. As a result, the picture became evidence in an increasingly strong case against her rather than being dismissed as a one-time, terrible look. Shortly after, journalists and commentators began calling it the season's dirtiest play. Outrage filled the news headlines. Referees faced harsh criticism for stifling their whistles, and fans deluged comment sections calling for responsibility. Officials once again appeared lenient when it came to ensuring
making all kind of excuses to say that Bria Hartley is not a dirty player. Let me tell y'all something, man. Come on in here. Come on in here, man. Let me tell y'all something. If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, eats like a duck, it's a duck, man. Come on, man. She is the dirtiest player in the WNBA right now, winning the trophy. All right? Winning the trophy for it. Don't sit here and try to tell me Bria Hartley is not a dirty player.
By the conclusion of the week, more than just one game was being discussed. It has to do with credibility. The question was whether the WNBA would intervene and send a message or take no action at all. In any case, Hartley's grin had cemented her reputation in the eyes of her followers, since that photo confirmed what they already thought. The unsettling thing is that she was accustomed to this. Was Sophie Cunningham simply one
Atkins, 7 to shoot. Cardoso rolls, catch. Cardoso over the top, can't get it. Reese fights for the rebound and a foul, and this time gets a little chippy and a shove on Nelson Adota. And listen, this arena typically will see some.
Settle the dispute that arose with Angel Reese earlier this year. It wasn't your average post play. Hartley was reprimanded by fans for snatching Reese's hair during a rebound fight. A swipe is not the same as a fistful of braids, and Reese's response demonstrated how obvious it appeared. That video quickly went viral, and by the time it was all included in Hartley's reputation file, she was already awaiting another incident. The next name to be associated with her was Rebecca Allen. After she was shoved, it caused followers to start blaming her once more.
So Mike put this up about an hour ago. He said to all of those defending Bria Hartley, look at what she liked on Instagram. Emo, she's the dirtiest player in the league and should be kicked out. Most recently, Sophie Cunningham has been hurt with the knee tear and is out for the season. Look at this. Look at this. Now, Bria is the definition of consistency. Now, this is her liking this. This is her liking this post. Y'all see that? Breezy, 1414, and others. Bria is the definition. She's liking this post. Look at this. Death taxes and Bria Hartley always being at the scene of the crime. Now that's her choke slamming Angel Reese.
It reached its boiling point at this point. Fans were no longer witnessing solitary mishaps. They were observing a trend, and the story was altered by patterns. Hartley's leftovers were already strewn all over the season by the time Sophie was on the ground, clutching her knee. Because of this, it was almost impossible for anyone to think the smirk was only a lousy expression that happened at the wrong moment. The Reese hair pull, the run-in with Allen, and the recent collision that trapped one of Indiana's toughest players were all remembered.
Indiana Fever fans wake up pissed off today. Pissed off. Not only are we getting assaulted, but they're smiling about it. This is the 6th time they've smiled, laughed, and cheered on our Indiana Fever players getting assaulted, getting injured. And it pisses me off.
The fact that officials appeared to be oblivious to it all just served to fuel the rage. Referees were criticized by fans for calling ticky-tack fouls in one game while allowing strong contact in another. There wasn't any norm. The idea that referees were involved in enabling Connecticut's hard play to continue unchecked while players like Sophie were hit was stoked by this discrepancy. Furthermore, despite frequently berating players, Hartley received no repercussions, yet Sophie herself was penalized earlier this season for insulting those same officials. Many fans found it impossible to overlook that double standard. Sophie's own relatives had had enough. Her mother Paula and sister Lindsay raised concerns about why the league wasn't intervening to shield players from such circumstances. Now, it wasn't simply angry fans. Many Fever fans were already frustrated, and her family was adding fuel to the fire by criticizing the WNBA. Players would keep being hurt if the league did nothing.
Maybe you should focus her sister. Maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are capable to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you. The only good thing positive surrounding Sophie Cunningham coming out of this game, she looked in good spirits in the locker room.
For this reason, discussions on suspension began virtually instantly on the internet. Supporters urged Hartley receive the same punishment after citing prior instances in which careless plays resulted in sanctions. They had already portrayed the league as corrupt, put Hartley in the dirty player box, and viewed Sophie as the one who had been sacrificed. However, things took an
And Sophie Cunningham's family not too happy. I believe this is Mama C. Hartley is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control. Looked out of control to me.
Supporters were expecting the league to intervene and impose some sort of penalty. There was a lot of suspension talk, and the clamor was so strong that most people thought the WNBA would have to react. However, an announcement abruptly changed the course of events. The Connecticut Sun announced that Bria Hartley will not be playing any more games this season due to a meniscus injury in her right knee, which ended her season early rather than due to disciplinary action. There was nothing more eerie about the time.
It's stated Connecticut Sun guard Bria Hartley will miss the remainder of the season due to a meniscus tear in her right knee. Injury sustained during team practice. You got hurt at practice? Hartley is expected to make a full recovery. So you mean to tell me her own team hurt her? Oh my God. Her own team hurt her? Oh man. Oh dog, this is funny as hell. I should laugh, but damn, dog, how your own team hurt you, bro. Hartley is expected to make a full recovery. Additional updates will be provided.
The similarities were immediately apparent, and admirers quickly made the connection. Sophie Cunningham had just been sidelined due to a torn MCL, which was devastating for a club that already felt like they had suffered too much this season. The player at the heart of Sophie's injury debate, Hartley, now suffered a terrible knee injury of her own. Both were sidelined and need lengthy recuperations. It comes from being on the receiving end, with Sophie being the exception. Hartley supporters saw it as a quicker than anticipated retribution.
That I was like, Bria and I are super cool, and she would never try to hurt me, because there are some girls that I think might, but she wouldn't do that. And so I have nothing but.
Well, Sophie, I got news for you. The universe thought otherwise. The universe thought otherwise. They got her ass up out of here, bro. Damn. Which they weren't going to the playoffs anyways, but man, karma's a ish. I just got to keep it real, bro. I mean, this is everywhere.
Social media quickly became dominated by the instant karma narrative. Fans of the Fever, who had been indignant only days before, abruptly changed their tone from indignation to support. People were calling Hartley's season-ending injury a form of justice that the league itself refuses to provide, and posts praising the symmetry appeared everywhere. The message was the same whether it was referred to as retribution, irony, or poetic fairness. Supporters viewed it as the intervention of the basketball gods.
So it said, wonder if she's grinning now. Oh, instant karma on their ass. Prayers do come true. Some of the same people complaining about injury. Somebody said, man, the storyline of this league is incredible. Man, I did an incredible video talking about the injuries, dog. Somebody said, oh, that's terrible news. That's a voodoo doll. No more head hunting for her.
For Connecticut, that irony was much more painful. Hartley's departure cost them a vital rotation player at the peak of intensity. The defeat wasn't simply a headline for a squad that prides itself on toughness and physical play. It was a blow to their own goals. Her own staff had to deal with Hartley's aggressive behavior, which had gained her a reputation without it. Sophie, meanwhile, continued to exhibit the grace that made her a favorite. She told supporters that she still thought of Hartley as a friend and had no animosity toward him, even after her injuries. Sophie's image was only enhanced by that contrast. She conducted herself with cool honesty while fans vented their rage online, further separating the athlete who maintained her dignity throughout it all from the alleged villain. And in a turn of events that no suspension could have ever matched, Hartley was completely eliminated by fate. She was off the floor, unavailable, and no longer a threat without the league doing anything. The focus then shifted back to Sophie Cunningham, whose fortitude in the wake of the incident made her plot very compelling.
Somebody said this was her karma. She went into every game this year and either tried to bully someone because she knew her team had her back, or she did a dirty play on someone she knew her team had her back. She never stood up for herself and then injured someone for the whole season. And guess what? Her team ended up injuring her. Her team ended up injuring her, bro.
Sophie Cunningham was not silent for very long. She made it apparent that she wasn't going to become less visible in the days following her accident. Her first indication appeared on Twitter, where she retorted to detractors with the scathing remark, "F around and find out." Everything you needed to know was contained in the forward post. Sophie was prepared to battle, not only for herself, but also against anyone who was disparaging her or her family, even though she was sidelined and just recovered from surgery. It was concise, straightforward, and devoid of any possibility of misunderstanding.
Now look, you can tell Bria Hartley, in my opinion, she launched herself into her knee. She did. And I've seen some of the reaction online. And guys, it's despicable. It really is. There's a lot of people celebrating this injury. And guess what? You can imagine who it is. It's members of the old WNBA fandom, the ones that root for Paige Beckers and Angel Reese and Asia Wilson and all the usual damn suspects.
The fact that the tweet felt so different from how she handled the same circumstance on her podcast was what really set it apart. She was restrained there, even referring to Hartley's hit as a basketball play and emphasizing that she didn't think it was done maliciously. One message dealt with perspective and grace. The other dealt with defiance and fire. Together, they provided supporters with a whole image of Sophie, a rival who isn't resentful, but also doesn't back down.
Well, you come at Sophie's sister, you come at Sophie. And Sophie saw this comment, and bless her heart, she answered it. She answered it. Some of us were raised by the words of, quote, don't bite off more than you can chew. And some of us didn't. Quote, F around and find out. F around and find out. Kiss. God bless this woman. Yeah, seriously. She's great.
She was open about the recuperation process on her podcast, acknowledging that she will have surgery and be formally finished for the season. She sounded positive about what comes next, but she also didn't sugarcoat how difficult the road ahead will be. One of the main words she used was gratitude, thanking her teammates and the Fever organization for supporting her. It provided insight into her attitude, as she chose to frame the injury with positively and resolve despite being annoyed by it. Her family didn't follow the rules. The Cunningham fighting DNA really showed up at this point. Lindsay, her sister, publicly chastised the WNBA for fining Sophie and criticizing officiating while doing nothing to stop risky actions that hurt players. Paula, her mother, went even farther, characterizing her as a rude and unruly person and calling her a disgruntled player who has problems everywhere she goes. Those remarks simply fueled the ire of Sun fans who were already upset with the referees.
Try to hurt me, because there are some girls that I think might, but she wouldn't do that. And so I have nothing but love, and so I hope people stop giving Bria some heat, because I don't think she meant to do that at all.
The Fever had to continue their ascent through all of this. Despite the roster being thin, hardship contracts being signed, and an accumulation of injuries, this club refused to give up. This fortitude was demonstrated by Kelsey Mitchell's 38-point burst against the Sun, which won her the title of Eastern Conference Player of the Week. By taking on a leadership role, Lexi Hull shown her ability to keep a group of people together in the face of adversity. The toughness Sophie exemplified permeated the roster, even in her absence. And Caitlin Clark comes next. With her return, the team is still being cautious and simply providing daily reports. However, everyone is aware of the potential significance of her return. This team is still intact after Sophie's injury. If anything, it has shown a level of combat that may prepare them for greater things than anyone could have imagined.
I'm officially 3 for 3 on being fined by the WNBA.
Holy shit! For this? For the pod? Again?
They didn't like my comments on Paige Beckers.
No way!
I didn't even say anything bad.
On the whistle? On the quick whistle?
Yeah. But like, why?
Although Bria Hartley's injury that ended her season made headlines, it wasn't the main topic. Sophie Cunningham is the main subject. Her honesty, fortitude, and refusal to allow her detractors to define her. Despite being sidelined, she used an unpleasant circumstance as motivation. Additionally, observe the Fever. Kelsey Mitchell keeps having incredible scoring nights. Aaliyah Boston continues to fight from within, while Lexi Hull is demonstrating consistent leadership. When Caitlin Clark returns to this roster, the playoffs appear to be completely open. Sophie was not shielded by the league, but Indiana is not in need of rescue. They are already crafting their own comeback narrative. Let's wish Sophie a quick recovery in the comments section below if you agree with her. Turn on all notifications, like, and subscribe to ensure you don't miss anything. We'll see you in the next video. Click the video on the screen.
I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you. Proud of you. I'm so proud of you guys. I know that sometimes it sounds like just a word when we talk about being resilient, but it's not, man. It's how we live. Yep. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you. It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. You never give up gritty attitudes. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And